Okay, good. Now, welcome to today's demo. Today we'll be demoing some of the new features we've added to the app, the OCL for OpenMRS web app. So I'll quickly share my screen to show you guys the board so that you have a feel of what we've done so far. Share my screen. So mic check. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So we've completed the task of a user being able to add concepts from CIE or dictionary. So we've completed those tasks. These are like subtasks to the parent tasks there. And we've also redesigned the add dictionary modal so that we got rid of all the unnecessary placeholder text. And also we have corrected some of the things, some of the issues you pointed out during the sprint planning, issues with the create concept page, issues like rearranging the order of things, like making the name come first. I've also worked on worked on the usability of the app. We've removed the unnecessary side navigation bar. We've also improved the navigation bar. The link to the app. So if you open the app, you notice that the navigation bar is quite different. And we've also worked on the user dashboard. We've also connected the concept page to the dictionary overview page. And yeah, so we've also worked on paginating the concept in a particular dictionary, and also we have added the functionality of displaying a newly added concept immediately after it was added. So let me quickly go to the app. So right now, when you go to the app, it takes you to the user dashboard, and then you get you see a nice message there, like letting you know the organizations you belong to. And for me, I belong to these two organizations, so that's why I have these two organizations there. And then you also get to see all your dictionaries, both the ones you created and the ones your organization created. So the features we added includes to, let's say I want to add a new concept to this dictionary. All I have to do is come here and add CIEL concept. That takes me to the CIEL concept page where I'll see all the concepts in the CIEL source. Then I can decide to either preview to see some extra information about that particular dictionary or that particular concept. Then I click on the add button. It will be added. Okay, we are supposed to get a little toast. Let me see. Okay, that seemed to be a little mix up somewhere. All right, but however, we've actually worked on that, and we've also worked on paginating the concepts in a way that when a user comes to this concept page, you get to see all the concepts in a particular dictionary, and then can either go next to see, or you can use the next button and the previous button to see the rest of the concepts, or you just filter them by the source, by their source type, or or by their classes. So this has also been worked on. And then again, we've also worked on the search bar. Right now, the search bar can only return results of all the dictionaries in the database, all the OpenMRS dictionaries. So you can access, you can search from anywhere. Let's say we want to look for, let's see, test. It will return all the dictionaries with this keyword test. Then you can then go ahead and view more details about that dictionary. Then we've also
Sorry, just to check.
okay,
That global search, the thing that looks like a global search bar is going to search through dictionaries just by the name or description of the dictionary?
by the name and the description as well.
Okay, but that does not search through concepts or something like
No, no,
that.
no, no, it doesn't search through concept and sources, just dictionaries for now.
Okay. I guess I would say having a global search bar that just searches through dictionaries by name is not so helpful. I mean, in the sense that you would, seeing a search bar there, you would expect it to do something, I guess, more useful or more thorough, more significant than just what you would otherwise get by clicking on all dictionaries and then clicking through its own search bar.
Okay, so
Maybe
you're
it's just a
suggesting we
placeholder.
should,
Mhm.
okay, we should also add the functionality to search for concepts and maybe sources as well.
Um, I would primarily think searching through concepts. If we have anything up there, I would think that searching through concepts is one of the things it should do. But also, I think if you like, the way that the search bar up there works in GitHub is actually interesting, that as soon as you click in there, it also tells you what it's about to search through, like this this repository or this organization or all of
Okay,
GitHub. And you can actually sort of choose between those. Not saying we need to necessarily replicate that, but it's helpful. I mean, it's helpful that it shows you what you're about to search through. I guess in general, since typically there will be some content on the page, I know. I guess we had talked about moving a search bar out from the page and up to the top. It's just still like now, like the screen I'm looking at, I would expect the search. I guess it still feels like I would expect the search bar to search through what's on the screen itself a little bit.
okay,
Anyway, I'm not. The other thing is, what is the user workflow that global search bar is supposed to enable? That's actually what I would think we should think about or research. Like, why do I want to, from any page, I go to this search bar, which is part of the global navigation, and search there? Why?
okay, okay. For right now, we are limiting it to returning just dictionaries, but we'll work on your feedback and would also make it search for concepts and we'll also make it more useful to the users. And thank you very much. And
So
okay,
I have a question. You clicked, did I see correctly? So at least I'm looking on my screen too, and there's a link where you could say view all OpenMRS public dictionaries. And then it loads a list of dictionaries there. I'm wondering, two questions with this. One is it's not clear what the sorting is here, and it's not a sort that I would have it's not an intuitive sort, and there's nothing that describes what it's doing because it's not alphabetical.
Yeah.
So that might be something to look at. The other is
Okay.
when it comes to OpenMRS dictionaries, the way a repository is exposed in OCL, any of these could be used in OpenMRS, and so I'm a little, because you could download. Well, yeah, I guess I'm a little hesitant to say to restrict to this tool to a list of dictionaries or sources that have been created through this tool, when any of them could be used in OpenMRS. The only distinction is that we have are using a collection to support subsets. I might be wrong on that, but it seems like at some point you'd want to provide access to other content that wasn't packaged up using this tool, even if it's still compatible.
Okay.
So that's the concise question. This could be a future functionality. I don't think this is the focus for now, but the concise version of this is for dictionaries that are compatible with OpenMRS, that pass OpenMRS validation. Do we want those to be exposed to this tool in any way if they weren't created in this tool?
Okay. Your line was kind of breaking when you were talking. I'm not sure I got all that.
So I think, Jonathan, you're suggesting that it might be misleading because this is only going to be showing. Actually, the question is this only showing dictionaries that are created through this tool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's only showing diction. It's only showing what has been created on this on this application.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jonathan is suggesting that there are other things that are created outside of this application that are also can be used as OpenMRS dictionaries, I guess, and so they should show up here too, maybe. I would say let's hold off on that.
Okay.
It is a little bit, like, for me, the question is sort of, one thing we were supposed to get away from is this, like, users having to all users having to understand, like, wait, what's a dictionary, what's a source, when in their first couple of clicks through the application. Right now we do still have, I see we have all dictionaries, we have sources as links in the navigation. Anyway, I would say it's an interesting point, but let's hold off on it. And if in the end, if they can only see things that are created through this, they need to be able to see things created through here, and they need to at least be able to see CIEL somehow.
Okay.
All right.
One last
taking
point
that
that on this page is that it looks like there's a number of the repositories that are repeated, or the dictionaries that show up multiple times. So there might be an issue with the results returned.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Okay.
And then there's something else we want to draw your attention to. So we're having some cross-origin error. So we are trying to assess, like, let's say I want to add a concept to this dictionary, an existing concept. So it appears that why this is not working right now is because it is being blocked by some cross-origin I don't know if you can see my screen, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would want this to be allowed from the back end to enable us to do this. You can try it from your end also to confirm what I'm saying.
What are you trying to do a put on?
We want to actually add these the concepts to the reference of this particular dictionary. Supposed to be like a put request.
So what's the post or whatever that you're doing? You're calling something on api.qa.openconceptlab.org.
Yeah, this URL. Okay.
Oh, whereas we're on the browser thinks we're at openmrs.qa.openconceptlab.org.
Mic check.
Check.
Okay, Hadija, maybe you could throw more lights to this since you actually worked on this and had this issue.
Oh, so maybe before my check, before I continue,
can
Emma could enable the calls so that he can show you, like we show you the two scenarios.
It's already enabled. I've enabled it.
Try to
You can see.
refresh. Try to refresh, yes.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, add.
Okay, maybe I'll give you some time to share your screen and maybe you could
Okay.
just
So
demo it for us.
So to explain to Jonathan and Cynthia, since she's like the DevOps, they can help us. We are having an issue with the calls because of a put request, and we actually researched on it with the team, Shakira, Christoph, and Emma, and we found out that sometimes the put requests are not catered for when they are giving the cross-origin reference access. So it's supposed to be done in the back end. That's why we are requesting for your help. So we read somewhere that it can allow the get, add, and the headers. So that's why it breaks the, like when you're making the API call, it breaks it. Yeah.
So let me make sure I understand. Is it that, so I see the URL you're trying to put to, and I'm able to query the references from that collection. But when you do the put, are you passing the authentication token also as a?
Let me share my screen and I show you the calls effect. Can you see my screen? Yes. So, for example, here, if I try to add this, let me first go to that dictionary. I can say to mine. Then I want to add existing concepts from the CIEL. So if I say add, it adds, it says concept malaria pathogen successfully added. But this is because I enabled calls in my browser. I had to install it. And if I try to add it, it will tell me it already exists. I can add another one like that. Even when I preview, like this one called time, and I add, still it adds successfully. If I try to add it, it says it already exists. But if I disabled the calls here, it will not even throw that. I have to refresh. like if the calls are not in the browser, it doesn't. Whoa. It's working still. No, it doesn't work. So this is the cause effect we are talking of. Like if you refresh the browser when this cross origin is not manually enabled, so it does not perform that put request. So the fact that we cannot tell the users to all enable the calls, we need to do it in the back end so that we get away with that error.
So
Yeah.
do you think that you can write a post on Talk mainly describing what is the change you want to see, but also a little bit about what's the
and another thing they are added, like the malaria pathogen comes here, number 1, tells you from CIA, then time, bloodlets, like that. So the logic is there working, but this cross origin, it's what we need to take care of.
Yeah. So it would help, I think, if you can do a post describing just what is the flow that fails in a little bit more detail, and with like an example of the specific request that fails and what the error, and why it is that CORS causes that to fail, and then what is the request that you are making.
Okay. Yeah,
which I
we shall
assume
do
the
that.
request you're asking is that the OCL server code should have some configuration setting changed.
Yes. So where we are reading, maybe to give Jonathan, like we saw you can enable calls for all the kinds of methods used, so that even put and delete, because even delete cannot work if the cause effect is there. So we shall make that post and request that. Yeah.
Okay. And I think do we want to enable this for all origins, or is this only for when the request is originating from the OpenMRS, this new OpenMRS app? Or maybe you can include that in the post.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should allow all origin. Because even from while trying to access it from localhost, we still have same issue.
So I guess I'm wondering, why is there not a setting that you could change automatically in the code at the user interface? Because we have other user interfaces accessing OCL, and it does work okay. Does it need to be a back end setting, or is there not a front end setting for this?
So my guess here. Oh, Emma. Okay, Emma can go first.
So we've actually set up the front end part. We've taken care of all the cross origin security patch in the front end, and still yet that issue still persists. So I feel maybe there's something we need to do from the back end, from the server side. Hadija, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so I wanted to also highlight, like, it might be because this is a cross origin from JavaScript, like, to the Django API, and maybe why the Django web app is working. Maybe it might not, like, maybe it might be affecting JavaScript. So we can specify it for this app, like to allow for this for our app for now.
Okay.
And
Well,
I also want to highlight that the app actually works perfectly if we try to use it on Safari browser. But I'm not sure everyone using the app will be using Safari browser. That's why we want to work at least on Chrome. So you can go now, Jonathan.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for describing that. We'll definitely look for your post, and then we could see if Rafal can make the server, or Cynthia can make the server change.
All right, thank you very much. So we also added some text, some information to the login screen, because right now there's no endpoint to consume to create a login screen that will enable a user to log in with their username and password. So we are still trying to look for a way around that. Good thing Jonathan is maybe he might throw some he just left. Okay. We have some issues with that login. There's no endpoint right now that we can consume to create a login page that user will can log in using username and password. So we've added some tests to the login screen to enable users have access to the app. So I'll quickly share my screen now to demonstrate that. Okay, let me just log out. User comes and if the user is confused as per how to start, there's this link here, having trouble with login, and when you click on it, you have this little test here explaining the login process. And then if the person still needs some extra um, guidance, then the person can go ahead and watch this video. The video is quite descriptive. So after watching it, then the user can then click on ready to log in now and then log in with their username and token. So I feel like that's all we have for now. So any more questions or contribution? I'm just quickly stop sharing my screen.
Sorry, so if I remember right, the idea was that research was done earlier about what could be, there was some research done earlier in an earlier sprint about the login process. And the idea was that in this sprint, that research was going to be continued and gotten to a point where we understood what we were going to do. So could someone please share a little bit more about what are the paths we could take? Because I think we knew that the traditional OCL API is weird. I mean, it's a little bit weird in that the user and password authentication is handled by the web app there and not the API.
My check.
Check.
Maybe I remember the very first time we had trouble with authentication, we started a thread on talk about it, but the question was if there is already an endpoint, then it will be hard for us to add another endpoint that is similar to that. So that's why we put it on a pause. And maybe if Jonathan can allow us, I believe we can create an endpoint. But that means we might have to begin from signing up, because the token is like generated from signing up. So the authentication process begins from signing up. So even if users sign up from traditional OCL, they might still, it might be hard for them to again log in our app here. Yeah, maybe the other developers can add on.
The authentication definitely needs improvement. I think if this fits into your scope, if you could, it would be very beneficial if you could make a recommendation for how you think it could be improved. Right now, you're correct that it's a shared process between the web and API, that there is no way to go to the API, as far as I understand, and create the user account there directly. That you have to do it through the web and API combined. It's not a good process. And then the user account exists in two places with a shared token. It exists in the web database and the API database. So ideally, it only occurs at the API side, and we remove that from the web. And, I think it also makes sense to add like social authentication and things like that, although those are low priority. But if you have a recommendation for how to do this, then I think we're definitely open to it.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Jonathan. We'll think about it. So do we have more questions or contributions?
I have a question for Darius. So it's about the adding of bulk concepts. Actually, I think I discussed with Emma, but why we didn't even bother to work on it is that we need, I think, sources, like legit sources from the actual API. So I don't know how we shall go about that, because the QA has some sample sources that we would not want to use now for that particular task. So what do you recommend?
I guess, so I'm not sure why it should be a blocker to have realistic sources for bulk adding, but say not for the regular add concepts. It's just a question of a screen which allows you to type in IDs and add them. So I don't think it really matters how realistic the test data is. But I mean, if we need to, I don't know, Jonathan, do you have some way to add, to load a little bit, like a portion of CIEL into a QA server?
I thought do we not import the test? I thought there was the 2K, like 2,000 resources that were imported. Is that not there?
I don't know, what would they be under?
Let me see. Oh, it is not there. Okay. Well, under the SEAL dictionary, I thought we installed or imported the test set. It could be. So, okay, here's the thing. It could be imported, but then it'd be wiped the first time there's a deployment, because QA is automatically wiped every deploy. Rafal has just started to work again. As of yesterday, he is now on contract again. So I do expect that this server is going to get wiped frequently. And that means that the right way to do this is to add it to the install script for QA, which again I don't think is a huge activity, but would need to be some work to it to be done on that. So this server has it been wiped since you've been using it?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, how is that going to break your process?
Not really. We could always create new dictionaries and continue wherever we are doing.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I guess the question, and I guess we should ask then: is this a big requirement then, or a priority for you? Does it make sense to have Rafal add the test scripts in, or the test data?
So for now, we could work with sources that are already there, but my worry was like some sources, like the rigid sources in the main site, have like actual concepts that we would want to add, because when we are adding existing concepts like from all those sources, I thought we'd want to add real concepts, but we can still use the data that is available. Then we can change the servers anytime.
Okay. Great. And I'll go ahead. I'll ask Rafal about how much time it would take to do this too, just to see if it's an option.
The other question is, are there other, let's see, we have a QA and prod, but in theory, we could also deploy this app pointing against Showcase instead of QA. And I assume that has more real concepts.
So we have 3 environments. We have the QA, staging, and production. The staging and production both have, those both have the full CL dictionary.
Right, and since we're not actually depending on like rapid updates to the server API, we could actually switch this around so we're pointing at staging instead of QA.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much for the information. Do you have more questions? Contributions, concerns, feedback, probably.
Mic check.
Yeah, check.
I have a question for Jonathan. You the staging application that we are going to switch to access the CIEL, could we have a link to that? Because that would mean we have to change a number of things, like in our environment variables, so in order to use it.
I think if you just replace QA with staging in whatever URL you were using before.
Oh, okay.
Is that right, Jonathan?
Okay.
So I remember you said there were some changes made to the create concept screens.
Yes.
Yeah. There were some changes made to that screen. Let me quickly share my screen on the talk. So let's say I want to add a new concept. So right now we have the class, and then the data type is below the class. Initially they were on the same row, and then it will also preload the language of the dictionary itself. And then we've also rearranged the order of these columns right here. So now I have the name first before the language. Initially the language was there. For now, these are the only changes we have made to this page. So we can as well just create, let's see, new concepts. So
I still need your PRs with net so I can continue my work.
data type. Oh, okay. doesn't let's see let's yeah, it must be unique. Seems unique to me. Let's see. Oh, okay. I guess we'll go back and look at it again. Something just broke in that place. I'll stop sharing my screen. Oh, Shakira, do you have anything to say about that?
About what broke?
Yeah, I mean, I can't seem to add any concept from my end.
Okay.
Can you share your screen and try to create a new concept, please?
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me add like that. That's the language in the description.
Just to comment,
Yes.
data type NA is, in fact, should be a legal data type. Like that actually
Okay.
should be allowed.
Oh, all right.
Data type of NA means it's not a question. Like this thing would is that this concept works like an answer rather than like a question. So we should be allowing that. One other comment related to that is, I think that NA and none are the same thing.
These two. Okay.
Those are supposed to be the same thing, I believe. It's just one of them is the way that it was called in the traditional OCL UI. I think is none, and in the OpenMRS UI, I think it's called NA.
Okay.
Anyway, so we should only be showing one of those, and it should be allowed.
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
for the feedback.
I guess we'll go back and check what happened, what broke there. I think maybe just one or two lines of code.
Okay. We'll stop sharing.
Yeah, I can stop sharing your screen.
Sorry. Can you show again what happens when you log in? You go to. You see your list of dictionaries you create, or you click on one of your dictionaries, and then both what does that screen look like, and also when you say then add a CL or add a concept.
All right. Let me quickly share my screen again. Let's see. When you log in, you see this page, and then try to view the dictionary. Then you see dictionary overview. And
Okay, sorry, stay there for a second.
Okay. Let me go back. All right.
Okay, and so we're showing so I mean, I guess we'll need to rework this screen a little bit, but maybe we can save that for later. It's like the created and updated dates are not especially valuable, and if we are going to show them, we should show them in some user-friendly format.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, but we can come back to this. Fine. So we go into concepts.
Okay.
And then, so then when you add an existing concept, so first off, when it says add CL concepts, is the idea that on this QA server there is a dictionary called CL? It's just it doesn't have much in it.
Yes, but we created a dictionary called CIL.
Okay, you created it. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. But so this screen, it's still, and maybe this is from, I think, using the original mock-up I made too faithfully, but it's not very clear what the context of where you are in the navigation is not very clear here.
yeah.
Like that, the search for concepts search bar is above the heading. For one, that does not make sense because the search is really going to filter within the things you have below. You would also, I would expect, if we have some widgets that allow you to filter like by data type or by class, I would expect those to be here also. But mainly, although there's this link like back to test collection dictionary, that needs to be a lot more obvious. Like you are actually within, I mean, you've selected your test collection dictionary and you're going to add a concept to it from CL/CL in this case. So I think like the header one or something, the H1, there should be an H1 element or something equivalent to that that's at the top of the content pane that says, like that really says like you are adding those concepts to this other dictionary, or maybe say your dictionary name and then below it adding concept from CLCL or something. But it needs to be a lot more obvious where's the context that we're at.
Yeah, you're very correct. All right, and we'll rework the page. We'll rework this page. It will be reworked. Okay. That's not working. Thank you for that feedback. That page will be reworked, and we'll add filter, and then also add a little bit context to it, so that the user will actually know where he or she is coming from, and then maybe something like breadcrumb at the top. I will make that happen.
One other thing I noticed is that, so now there's somewhere where you have paging, like next page or something, which is different than the way some of the other screens worked with like an infinite scroll.
Yeah, so for that one, this particular page, mic check. Mic check. So okay,
Check.
yeah, so for this particular page, why we didn't use the infinite scroll is so that the user won't have to scroll up or to scroll the title of the page and then this particular link. We don't want the user to scroll these things away from the page. So we want the user to just have this page and then see everything that he or she wants in this page without scrolling. Then if the particular concept you're looking for is not here, then you can easily just click on the next button to go to the next page. And this next button actually does not make an API call. So it will just show up very fast. It doesn't make any API call because we've already loaded everything. So when you click on the next button, it will fetch the remaining concept. So, but if you want us to use the infinite scroll, we could still revert back to the infinite scroll for this particular page, or it was basically done for usability purposes.
I mean, I guess it's just strange to me that in some places we use one approach and in some places we use the other, but I would not change it now. I think it's fine to leave this like this for now and see if anyone complains. The breadcrumb, or the sort of go back, that's confusing. I mean, I assume that means go back to the overview.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. Goes back to the overview.
otherwise, you have like go back to, and then exactly the same text as what the title of this says.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it indicates that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Emma.
you have this go back to text collection dictionary. Then
Right.
but we'll make it more like a breadcrumb this time around. We'll just put links there, and then you can even decide to go back to the general dictionary, work on it.
I do have a call in 5 minutes, so I don't know. Are there more questions on your end? I will stop making small comments.
All right, and then also we have we'll appreciate it if we get some feedback from using the thread we've created on Talk. That way we can always go back there and see some of the things you would like us to implement, and then come back and create a ticket to fix those bugs. I've also attached the link to the app there so that anybody can just click on the app and test it and then leave some feedback for us to work on. Um, in the absence of questions or any more contributions. Okay.
What's scheduled for the next sprint?
So we'll choose a new sprint lead and we'll let you know. We'll let you know. We'll probably be starting in the sprint tomorrow. We'll let you know that you'll be invited for the sprint planning, and then we'll let you know. We'll get that message across to you.
Okay.
So, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. In the absence of any more question. Okay, Jonathan, you have a question.
No, was just going to say thank you. Yeah, good progress.
All right. Well,
Yeah, no, thank you. It's looking good. Let's see. But I'm expecting a post about the cores issue, just giving a little bit more detail and asking what's the specific thing that you're proposing to change. And
okay.
perhaps also a post about the authentication and like the username password thing, and asking, well, either proposing something to do or saying, I don't know how to approach this, asking for help.
Okay, we shall work on that.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for attending. So, for those that will watch later and for everyone here, we'll be moving into the next segment of this call, the retros. If you'd like to jump off the call, you're free to jump off. If you'd like to stick around for the retro, you're also welcome to stay.
Yeah, I'm going to jump off too. Thanks, everyone. Talk soon.
All right, welcome.
Bye.
Um, okay, we've moved into the retro. So we'll just answer just some few questions in this format. What went well? What could be better? And how what can be improved? Mic check. Did you guys get that?
Yep.
Yes.
So I guess I will be starting. So what went well, I would say, further we were able to complete a couple of tasks, some important tasks, and that went well. What could have been better? I would say, I mean, we could have done better with our UI and then communication. Because looking at the app right now, almost all the links are not working properly because we changed one or two things from the route. We could have easily asked someone that worked on that task previously, or when we change something, if you know someone else is working on something that relates to that your task, can just communicate with the person and let the person know that okay, if you're going to change this route, please don't forget to update the link. And then what we hope to improve going forward, our communication skills, our team dynamics, and then I would also like it if we can pick a task and completely work finish that task without leaving some parts or doing half work and all that. I noticed that in a couple of tasks that we completed. So that would be all for me. I would nominate Shakira to go next.
Mic check.
You check.
Yeah, thanks everyone for attending the demo call. So what went well for me was we were able to work on a couple of tasks and we worked well as a team. And yeah, as we go on in different sprints, we get better at different things that we do. What didn't go well, +1 on stuff Emma has said. And then also the fact that a number of things were breaking during the demo that didn't go so well. But I know we are going to improve them and improve ourselves. And what could be done better is continuing to work together better, I think. But that would just improving on how we work. Yeah. I nominate Christopher to go next.
Mic check.
Check.
So what went well for me this sprint was at least we're able to show a lot of effort by working on actual tasks. And yes, I'm really happy that a number of feedback was implemented and done well. Because there was a point whereby I thought there was this task where I thought that's some task that I thought one of us was not going to pull off, because I thought of it in the future, like where we were heading, and then I was like, hey, how are they going to do this? But then I'm so luckily, I tried to help out where I could, and then raised, and it was actually working and working in the right way. Yeah, that went well for me. And then also the fact that at least the app I started looking at least beautiful. Okay, to shed more light, what I mean is okay, I'm not giving myself credit for the nav bar and whatever, and then also for the user dashboard. Yeah, the user dashboard really looks nice, like currently. Thank you, Emma, for the job. And yeah. So what went well, what did not go well, right?
Yeah, what could be better?
Okay. So what did not go well was the fact that at times when we are working on tasks, like we only think about ourselves currently. In that, if I'm working on a CSS okay, if my task is related to CSS or something, and then For example, let me say there is this element called the element called an input, as such input that appears on all other components, but then it uses one specific ID or class for identifier for the CSS, and then you change it to only suit what you're working for without looking at the rest. So I think before you in case you make a CSS change, you look for what it's affecting. You don't just make a pull request and then it's merged, because at times you don't know, and then you actually get to see that something changed. Yep, and then you take the blame. Yep. So I guess that could be improved on, like just being more aware of what you're changing, not just changing to suit your to make your what you're doing work. And I guess we could also play more with do more in the team dynamics. However much I feel like we have really moved from a month back. We have really moved somewhere. So I feel like we should work more and at least get better at it. And I don't know if you guys looked at one other thing that I actually think that we should also do as a team is, I don't know if you guys looked at the resource that Daniel had shared for the 10 commandments of reviewing pull requests. So if we could put them in perspective, because for one, there were some that I was facing. I won't mention them, but then I know them, and it was true. And I was ever since the time I realized that I was trying to work on them, and when I saw the post, I was like, okay, wow, it's high time I actually did away with like having them in my mind. So that also could be something that we could improve on. I guess Hadija can go next.
My check. Thanks everyone. Thanks Emma for taking on this demo and for being the sprint lead. So what went well, I won't differentiate from most of my teammates who were able to come closer to the MVP. Actually, I can say we are only left with one small thing to achieve in the MVP. So big ups to us. Yeah, that made me so happy. And we were also able to work on a couple of tasks, which I believe enabled all of us to grow, because every time you pick a task or you're fixing some bug, you're always growing some way or another. So what didn't go well is more so like what you've pointed, but I can again repeat the cause of it, as I did in the last demo, because I had requested that we should bring back the code reviews personally we used to have. And like whenever someone's PR is up, they take us through what they've changed and actually demo to us. Because if someone demos, then we can get to know what is breaking up. But because, please don't cut. Let me continue and finish. Yeah. So if someone could demo, then we could see like some of these links that we always notice after the app being merged. So we could maybe notice it that, oh, no, you need to also work on this link, it was affected. Or sometimes you can't forget that what you've changed is affecting other files. So that is what we could do better, like doing demoing to ourselves before the PR is merged, so that we are sure that everything is not, like things are not breaking. Yeah. That's it from me. Emma can take it back.
My check. So we've come to the end of the retro. So we will have a kind of post retro. I'll stop the broadcast now. Thank you everyone for watching. We hope to demo this product again next time. Bye.
I think Chris had the question, Emma.
He will ask his question later.